Okay, here's the rewritten script in very simple English, like friendly gossip from a friend telling a story. It's paragraph style with no timestamps, and I kept every single piece of info exactly the same, no adding, no removing, no shortening. The length stays line by line the same as the original. Jay-Z is rushing to stay out of Diddy's newest criminal mess after Netflix said 50 Cent's documentary about Diddy and everyone who worked with him comes out next week. People say Jay-Z gets shown in this documentary with video proof that he was involved. At the same time, some secret video of Diddy inside federal prison just got out. 50 Cent shared the release date for his Diddy documentary. Sean Combs' The Reckoning hits Netflix on December 2nd. 50 Cent wrote under it, "They said I was capping. What happened? And it's been so long now, I thought maybe he was really just joking and this documentary wasn't real, but clearly I was wrong because this is really happening." Not only is 50 Cent just posting this, so he's not messing around, it's getting confirmed by lots of news places. And right now I bet Diddy is super nervous about what 50 Cent is going to show in this documentary. You know, 50 Cent had some connection to the Diddy trial. Not only that, we can't forget during this Diddy trial, people said Diddy wanted to hurt 50 Cent. 50 Cent keeps making fun of Diddy. So, I'm worried he's probably going to roast Diddy really hard in this documentary. It's going to be so rough. This is a documentary I'm going to watch just because I want to see how 50 Cent puts it all together. Right after Diddy got arrested back in September of 2024, 50 Cent said he was teaming up with Netflix to put out a documentary that would show some of Diddy's crimes even the feds didn't know about. The proof for these crimes came from 50 himself over the last 20 years. People say he knew everyone Diddy was mixed up with and he was ready to expose the main guy. Speaking of in particular Netflix docu-series that you've been working on, did he do it? Right. You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character, right? Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle. You weren't going to the party. But what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true? Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out. I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way he would present the idea of going to these projects to come party with me. Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it. Just that alone. So you didn't realize as much stuff was coming, like when I see today it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them, and it's a long time to be honest with you, like when people don't remember being violated for 20 years. It makes me feel a little hard. What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z? That was interesting. I didn't when I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying. I was going where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also, you know. So I hope it works out, cause with his family, the things that go on internally is that those accusations are crazy. 50 says his docu-series doesn't talk about any of the current gossip, but instead it's going to show the details of how Diddy's criminal setup worked. People say the proof in this docu-series is what started a new criminal investigation into Diddy. Diddy Combs now facing new claims. This time from a guy in Florida. According to ABC News, investigators in LA got a report from a police department in Florida where the person who says it happened lives. And now they are working on the case. Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza in the newsroom with the very latest details. Mike. Well, David, here's what we know. The new claims of sexual assault against Sean Diddy Combs come from a music producer who went to police in Florida, but the bad things happened in Los Angeles. Jonathan Hay is his name. That's the person who filed the complaint, and he's one of the John Does that filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in July. The first bad thing was in September of 2020 in LA, Hay saying that Combs did sex acts in front of him and asked for oral sex. In a second thing in 2021, Hay says CJ Wallace, the son of the rapper Notorious B.I.G., took him to a place where 2 men put something over his head, he says, before Combs forced himself on Hay several times. Combs is right now serving his sentence in Fort Dix, New Jersey, after his conviction earlier this year on 2 prostitution-related charges. Combs's people have not answered this lawsuit yet. David, thank you, Mike. These new claims are just one of more than 100 civil cases filed against Diddy. And remember, just one criminal investigation can put both Jay-Z and Diddy in jail for life. Jay is Diddy's oldest friend. And in Diddy's own words, Jay-Z is the only one who knows all of his secrets. What are the chances that one of the 100 people going after Diddy will also point out Jay-Z? There's a lot of bad talk around Jay-Z right now and it's really hurting him. Yeah. And I think there's like a famous quote from someone who was found not guilty and he said, "All right, where do I go to get my reputation back?" Right. I mean, social media was on fire. Beyoncé's next. Jay-Z's next. All the people in their close group is next. Yeah. And the prob. Lem is there are just so many pictures of the two of them partying together. And he was clearly at a lot of Diddy parties. How powerful was Jay-Z when you were doing business with them? Was he already a big boss where if he wanted to ruin someone's life or make somebody a star, he could do it? Met Jay-Z and I signed to Roc Nation. I didn't want to drip myself in blood and cover myself and swim in goop and black goop and like wear devil horns to sell a record. Forget that. Or be a witch or be that. All of that. Forget all of them. King Academics reacted to the recent news from Netflix and talked about how 50 has a ton of proof against Diddy and his helpers. What most people are forgetting right now is that Diddy got arrested on RICO charges. And even though he was found guilty of moving adult workers, no one else got convicted. How is that even possible? 50-50 I'm not even going to lie to you. I thought he was trolling cause I do think 50 is a guy to kick you when you're down. And Diddy did seem like he was down for a long time. Pause. And I thought 50 was just trying to kick him again. It was clear that 50 wanted him to go to jail for a long time, maybe for the rest of his life. And I've said personally, I really think that 50 wanted him to go to jail because he was messing with his baby moms. You get what I'm saying? And that's what that is. However, it looks like 50 wasn't joking when he said back then that he was going to make at the time he called it the Diddy Do It doc and he said he was going to do it and all he said he was going to do the doc and put it out with Netflix and it looks like he wasn't lying. Netflix actually put out a press release. Variety and other places picked it up and they said there is a release date December 2nd which is the Netflix documentary series from the executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and it is called Ed Sean Combs The Reckoning. It's only going to be on Netflix and yes 50 is the executive producer. Now I'm going to be honest with you, this is a huge power move by 50. Now, I love 50, so we're not going to get into certain stuff, but 50 doesn't have the cleanest past. Sometimes I feel like when they make these type of docs, like Surviving R. Kelly, they pick the most woke person to show the doc because you kind of need somebody to talk big. With all due respect, I'm not saying 50 had freak-offs and stuff like that, but 50 is 50 Cent, bro. You know what I mean? It's like 50 Cent isn't the most perfect guy. Not saying he's been accused or he does stuff that Diddy does, but 50 is 50. We know for a fact that a big name in the industry was seen on Diddy's freak-off tapes, but was never convicted. As more and more proof comes out against Diddy, it's starting to be really clear that the person seen with Diddy was actually Jay-Z. It has also been said that Diddy is fully helping the feds and ready to tell on whoever they want. Did he always been the type of person that wanted to have dirt on the next person no matter what they was doing? He did the stuff to Jow so he could go after Jay-Z. They not going to come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being all up in the whole 9 yards until the feds say, "Hey yo, listen here. Hey buddy, we got you on this tape and a girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not going to show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love." That's when they going to start talking and they not going to be talking in his favor. 250 cameras all over the house. Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having 1 or 2 or maybe 3 things on somebody. So now we have 2 people come out saying that he was talking to the feds. Do you think that's true? Weth. Or it's true or not, and he might have been helpful in some way, shape, or form, you don't get away with human trafficking. And that's not what happened here. I can tell you, Jesse, this investigation's been going on for a long time. Very closely held by HSI. So much so that even some of the agents on the raid a week ago today didn't know whose house they were raiding until they got there. That's how closely held this investigation. 'Cause there could have been a tip. Absolutely. And there are claims that he was paying law enforcement through his chief of security, which also happened to be Michael Jackson's chief of security. I don't know if I buy into that. You know, people in Diddy's situation like to have those involved in law enforcement close to them, but that doesn't mean they're taking payoffs. That doesn't mean they're doing big favors. They like that closeness. It's just like how Diddy was able to work with Diageo or Estee Lauder. He was very successful in doing that, and that made him a lot of money and gave him respect outside the hip-hop rap world. And that's what he was trying to do here. A lot like what Epstein did with very powerful political and business people. Gene Deal has also confirmed this. He saw it with his own eyes. Diddy was working as a confidential informant for the federal government. Diddy's confidence came from the fact that he was a snitch. He wasn't untouchable because he was powerful. He was untouchable because he was useful. As long as Diddy kept giving information, the feds had no reason to go after him. And now they're using him to go after Jay-Z. That's a confidential informant. They'll let you do crimes long as you don't do no bad stuff like that. They'll let you go around and pay you to protect them. You understand? To protect him. We had a lot of people on the payroll when we was doing security. Everybody had somebody. Me. GHT have this first 10 hours, that 10 hours, or whatever. He was paying law enforcement. He had a budget for law enforcement. Now, if something goes wrong, those people got friends in certain places. Then, plus he tells his handler, yo, can you make this go away for me? I'll give you this and that. Now, that could be a lot of guessing or whatever like that, but why would you have or be working for a FBI agent if you're not an informant? Why? So when you got that kind of money, you could hire people to make a lot of things go away for you. Like you hire lawyers. Those lawyers have police officers and people working for them and investigators. Those investigators were former officers. So all them in the backyard in Diddy bed together. Diddy's plan to get out by telling on the people close to him might actually be working. TMZ recently said that a presidential pardon is being set up for Diddy and Diddy might get out of prison as early as December. Diddy could be a free man by the end of this week. We broke a story last night that Donald Trump is seriously thinking about shortening his sentence, and there has been a lot of drama with our story. By the way, shortening his sentence before he's even in a prison, right? He's still at Brooklyn MDC waiting to find out which prison he's going to. But this is something that President Trump is thinking about. And the fact that he's thinking about it is causing a bit of an argument inside the White House because not everybody in the administration thinks this is a good idea. So we are told this and this is coming from somebody high up in the White House. We broke that story by the way that right after the sentencing, his legal team, Diddy's legal team got in touch with somebody who had the president's ear and that the president was looking at the paperwork and the president said that in like 2 days later. Yeah. In the Oval Office 2 days later. So, we now know that Trump is thinking about it. We're told that he's kind of going back and forth. He's waffling. He's going back and forth on this, but there are staffers in the White House telling him, don't do it. 50 is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that Diddy and Jay-Z end up behind bars. After finding out that Diddy was planning to use a presidential pardon to try and get out, 50 said that he was going to personally call President Trump and ask him not to give Diddy a pardon. As it turns out, however, 50 didn't need to make any calls. Less than a week after it was said that Diddy might get a pardon, Diddy was caught drinking in prison. This is a very serious rule break, and because of this, Diddy might actually get an extra year added to his sentence. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs facing more time behind bars. His release date pushed back to June of 2028 instead of May of that same year. The news coming after reports of Combs drinking in prison, something he says isn't true after he was accepted into a rehab program in prison that could have made his sentence shorter by up to a year. He's also been accused of making a not allowed three-way phone call from prison. Here to make sense of it all, NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malice and defense attorney and friend of Top Story, Sarah Azari. Guys, thanks so much for being here, both of you. So, Chloe, I'm going to start with you. I'm being told you spoke to Combs's rep earlier. What did you learn about this issue? Sure. So Combs's representative, Judah Angelmere, telling me by phone earlier today, Tom, that yes, a three-way call was made between one of Combs's lawyers who did bring in another person on that call with Combs while he has been at Fort Dix, but that there was nothing wrong about it. But again, that is not something that you were supposed to do at all. So those lawyers should have known better. As for drinking, he said again that Combs was not drinking and that in fact he's been put into this very special rehab program that Fort Dix off. Ayers is actually going to potentially make his sentence shorter. He could be released earlier because of that. So, they're saying he's done nothing wrong and that any reports that he has been drinking is completely not true. Sean Diddy Combs is telling the truth about his life behind bars. Following a report that said the rap boss, who is serving a 4-year sentence for 2 prostitution-related convictions, was caught drinking homemade alcohol in prison, his spokesperson strongly says the claim is wrong, telling People magazine in a statement published November 9, there have been several false and reckless reports circulating about Mr. Combs. He has not broken any prison rules. His sobriety and self-control are important to him and he is taking them seriously. The 56-year-old was recently moved to a low-security correctional facility in New Jersey after spending over a year at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. At the new place, he was said to have made a mix of Fanta, sugar, and apples, which turns into alcohol after 2 weeks, TMZ reported. The spokesperson goes on, this is only his first week at FCI Fort Dix, and unfortunately, rumors will come up throughout his time there. We asked the public and press to give him the benefit of the doubt, the privacy to focus on his personal growth, and the grace to move forward in peace. Around the same time, videos of Diddy from inside prison also started getting out. And believe it or not, Diddy actually looked pretty happy. Does this look like the face of a man doing time in federal prison? We got video of him at Fort Dix going to work in the library where he is making suggestions and handing out different movies and books for his fellow inmates. I'm really interested just by the library itself. You're seeing him here. This is him going to work, taking off his jacket. Yeah. Taking off his scarf and settling in for a day on the job. It looks like a public school library. Yeah, this was the chapel. And this is the media library in the chapel, which is where Diddy's currently working. He's working in a Life Connections program, which is an 18-month program that helps rehab people and get them closer to spirituality to charity groups. And with that it will shorten his sentence. But in this media library he helps inmates with religious stuff, rent out movies, that kind of stuff. You see him pushing a TV on it. Yeah. I mean, he was in the laundry room when he first got there. Yeah. This got his first job. This got to be a promotion. Yeah. It feels like a promotion. It feels like maybe he tried the laundry room and put in a request for something different. Yeah, it does. It does sound like he used maybe some connections to get a better job. 50 Cent started making fun of Diddy right away after this video got out. And according to him, the reason Diddy is smiling is because he's exactly where he wants to be, in the middle of handsome men. Probably the biggest troll in the rap game, man. It's Diddy's birthday, November 4th. Oh, yeah, man. Today. Yeah, it's his birthday. Yes. And he happens to put up a post of him and there was some pictures released of Diddy on the yard with a couple other prisoners. Crazy to see prisoners, right? He had Bad Boy East, Bad Boy, that's Bad Boy prisons. But he put up a picture of those pictures and he said he looked too happy to me with all them handsome men around New York City. Wow. Oh my God, dude. How does 50 get away with this? I don't know. Because we were talking about, man, 50 don't lose any brand deals. He don't lose any endorsements. He can walk in and sell TV shows. Oh, yes. He can be in the boardroom and also be petty as hell, too. Yeah, man. Even when he sat down with us, he kind of explained a little bit about him and Diddy and the beef. I haven't had issues with Puff. I don't like him like that. Like I don't like things that he would do and make me speaking on Diddy. We speaking on Puff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I don't have that thing where I like, well, we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other. I still don't understand. And we wasn't doing that. I was still trying to figure out yeah, you do a lot to do a lot. And the uncomfortable part was when he was talking to the Breakfast Club and he was mentioning how Diddy wanted to take him shopping. He said something fabulous and he goes, yo, no, we know but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party. What is he talking about? When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time a long time ago at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You going to make me mess up the wedding? Oh, that's a nice gesture. Let me get out of no, dude. Take me. That's what a guy says to a girl. Hey, dude. That sounded like something would say gesture. Like, no, you don't crazy. You know, say, I'm going shopping. What's crazy? Is that the first time like any artist has said that about taking them shopping? Really? I've heard it from other artists like about Diddy taking him shopping. No one hates Diddy more than 50. Even during Diddy's sentencing, 50 was writing letters to the judge trying to get him to somehow sentence Diddy to life. In his letter, 50 talked about just how dangerous Diddy actually was and how he might come after the victims if he was allowed to get out. 50 is writing to the judge. All right. According to the letter, all right, 50 says, Dear Judge, I've had an ongoing dispute with Puffy for over 20 years. He is very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments despite his trying to teach a class in there. As you are already aware, the government has spent the maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appear to be an army in 2 locations simultaneously. Later, his son, who's dealing with his own rape claims, said that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hiring more male ex-workers and keeping most of the baby oil away from the general public, and babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming soon. There are more than 100 civil cases against Diddy. And if even one of them has enough proof to start a criminal investigation, Diddy's in for a rough time. As the rest of them start to come apart and more victims are shown to be believable, the pattern of behavior gets stronger. More witnesses come forward and suddenly what looked like separate claims turns into a clear history of abuse and forcing people. Just when we thought we were done hearing about Diddy, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department said they are looking into Diddy. And they said they are looking into a claim against Diddy of sexual assault that came from Rihanna's former publicist Jonathan Hay. Jonathan Hay also recently said he is a John Doe who filed a lawsuit against Diddy earlier this year. Once you hear the details of why they're looking into Diddy, it's actually pretty wild to know that the police think there is something here to look into because the claims against Diddy in this one do sound a little bit wild. In 2020, Jonathan Hay got into a recording deal with Biggie's son C.J. Wallace. Jonathan helped make Big Papa house mix with C.J. Wallace, Diddy, and other people from Frank White's team. During this work together is where these claims from Jonathan Hay are coming from. Jonathan Hay said that he walked in on Diddy watching adult films and touching himself and then finishing on Biggie's t-shirt that was there at the time because they were getting ready to put Biggie's clothes into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jonathan Hay then said that Diddy looked at him, threw the shirt at him, and started laughing and said, "Rest in peace, Biggie." This is where C.J. Wallace comes in. Jonathan Hay says that C.J. Wallace and Willie Mack tricked him into a meeting where Diddy would allegedly sexually assault him.